Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows, of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fiction genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about the season premiere of Supernatural, a fantastic season premiere, picking up right where the season 12's finale left off. Jack talking, fully grown and everything, and speaking to Sam like father. And it's so interesting. Like, obviously, I was thinking the entire time he's going to walk everywhere, father. It's like, no, he grew up and immediately starts speaking language. Because even Sam brings it up later, like, how are you talking fully in English? Like, I don't get that. It's because he went ahead, he knew he needed to grow up because his mom had already, like, it's kind of interesting because he'd already lived life through his mom, Kelly, so he already knew kind of a lot of the lay of the lands of things. That's how specifically he knows language. But the reason why he's an adult is because she warned him about the world being dangerous. So he ended up choosing Kaz as his father. And so, because the entire time he was like, I need to find father. I was like, oh, is he talking about Lucifer? Is he talking about Kaz? I was wondering about that. But it's like, ultimately, he's like, no, I'm talking about Castiel. And it's like, yay! But I mean, obviously, it's sad because Castiel's dead. And in the whole situation, it's like, you have Sam being a lot more reluctant about this whole situation of like wanting to kill Jack, because in Sam's eyes, it's also because of everything that went down between Kelly and Cass, and the fact of the matter is believing what Cass said. But for Dean's upset. It's like Lucifer took everything away from them. It took, their best friend Cass away from them. Lucifer also took away their mom because now she's on the other side in that other world with him. And the fact of the matter is, like, I ultimately think that's why. It's not just that, he is like Lucifer's son, which I'm sure that plays a part in, like, the fact of the matter is he's super bad, super evil and stuff like that. But what it ultimately comes down to is the fact is that it's like he needs something to hit. He needs something to kill. That's always kind of been Dean's thing, especially when shit gets hard. Like, that's what he does. He needs something to kind of take his mind off the thing. And Lucifer's not there to take his rage out on, so he's taking it out. He wanted to take it out on Jack, and that's ultimately what that comes down to. But like I said, Sam's kind of more reluctant and like, oh, maybe we should kind of learn a little bit more. We don't know where he stands in all this because Kelly had faith in him being good, and the fact of the matter is that's why Cass was the perfect dad to teach him to be good, because that's why Jack chose him, because Jack was like, oh, he's a perfect candidate. Because the one thing distinctly he remembers is like, oh, the bad lady burning, which is when Dagon died, is what he was remembering. So I know that's something too. I think I brought that up last season too. Like, we still don't know where the last Yellow Eyes Prince of Hell. We still don't know where the last Prince of Hell is, and maybe that definitely has to play a point in this, because the other three are already dead. Yellow Eyes. I still keep always forgetting his name. I think it's like Azazel. I think that's his name. Him. I forgot the other one, and Dagon. They all, like, I mean, the other two died, but there's at least one more who kind of backed away from the whole entire situation. So that is a question, like, where that Prince of Hell is. And especially considering the whole situation around Crowley not being around anymore, Hell is without a king and everything, and Lucifer's not there. So either that said Prince of Hell is going to come out of the woodwork and step up, or maybe like other demons are gonna be like, hey, it's gonna be a free for all deciding who gets hell. That's definitely gonna be interesting. I'm sure like a lot of lower level demons are like, well, I'm kind of the next in line. No, I'm the next in line. Crowley's dead. So whether Crowley is 100% dead, it seems like they're stapling it at. I was thinking, because Crowley is Crowley, like, he's always squirming out of situations, but it seems like he's dead. And it's actually kind of sad, because even when it was all said and done, Dean was like, all right, you took everything away from us. You took Mom, you took Crowley, you took Cass away. I meant to say Cass first, but then I said Crowley. But it's like, even bring back Crowley, because he's pissed at God, because it's like, you said everything would be fine, things went to shit, and you're all gallivanting with your sister Amara, and it's like, what are we gonna do? You left us in this situation. You said everything was going to be fine, but everything fell apart. So you fix it, but no word from God. So it's that situation of just like, is he listening? Does he even care? In Dean's eyes, it's like he doesn't care. In his mind, he thinks Mary's dead, because it's like, why would Lucifer do that? Lucifer wouldn't keep her around, because the moment he found out he was locked away, he'd kill her, which apparently he didn't. He kept her alive, which I'm not too surprised. Like, he needs her for something. Maybe it's because as long as she's alive, there's a good chance that he can manipulate the others into getting, like, Dean and Sam, getting Mary out of there. Because that was the whole point, one side of things, where Sam was kind of like, oh wait, it's like possible possibly could you open up, like, tear into that other world? Which I brought that up too. Like, it seems like that's definitely going to play a big part this season. That's what I thought last season. I mean, obviously this is just a season premiere, so there's a lot, obviously, like a tremendous amount of the season for things to kind of play out. But I'd be kind of interested to see that play more, because they introduced the concept of those new demons on the in that other world. The fact is, just that other world itself is probably something we're going to dive deeper into on Mary's side of things. So I am curious to see what Lucifer has planned for him. I mean, it's actually kind of interesting, because Dean himself, when he was knocked out, kind of had a nightmare of her, like that moment at this, in season 12's finale, and her burning. It just made him kind of think back, like, you know, in his mind, it was like, oh, she was burning and dying all over again, like she did when they were kids. And I don't know, it is almost in a weird way, like full circle, like, not, I wouldn't go as far as saying serendipitous, but the fact of the matter is that this all started because Mary made a deal years and years ago that led to everything falling out the way to be basically where they are now. And now she's in company with Lucifer, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what that all means. I mean, especially because we know Bobby exists on the other world, so I'm like probably going to see him more often, possibly. I don't know. Especially because, like, Lucifer kind of runs things in that world, but since there's already this Lucifer, it's like, what's that mean? Like, shouldn't, like, the universe be falling apart because there's, like, two Lucifers existing in the same universe or something like that? Because demons have kind of running free. I don't remember whether, like, Lucifer's actually dead in that universe or not, or whether he's sealed up again. The world is basically, like I say, it's like a what if situation of, like, if all, it's like, yeah, our world, this, you know, that, you know, obviously supernatural affects our particular world, but, you know, in a supernatural sense, is kind of, it's shitty, but it's okay in comparison to that other world, which is full blown chaos, which, so, I don't know, maybe we'll dive deeper into it. But it's kind of interesting about Jack, because Jack has, like, an innocence to it. Also, like, the fact is that his eye kind of seems to be, like, the representation of the season. You know, the title card changes every season. But I think that's, I'm very interested to see what they do with Jack. I was thinking Jack was going to be a character that pops into this season and then he disappears and he's kind of off on his own. But it's like, nah, Jack is with them, which is like, I guess he's kind of filling that void of, like, a third party member amongst the group. You know, it's like, or a role that maybe Cass would have filled or Crowley would have filled. Like, he's kind of compensating, or, you know, Mary would have filled. So I'm interested to see, like, what goes down this season in that regard. I mean, because it does seem like he is kind-hearted and curious. Like, it does seem like a lot of the values Kelly and even Cassio kind of passed on to him are there, but there's still that aspect that he is, in all intents and purposes, Lucifer's kid. So, and even Dean's like, things never work out for us in the end. Things can go good, but then eventually go to crap. So it's kind of like, who's to say he won't eventually just change, like, you know, who he is, because ultimately that side of Lucifer that exists within him could completely overwrite him. Obviously, you have angels wanting him, not only just dead, but also because they need him, because he's the golden ticket, because with his powers being a Nephilim, he can, the possibilities of what he can do are boundless. He can do well beyond what an angel or a demon could do. So he could easily, he could easily match the power of, like, a top dog, like, you know, Lucifer, or, you know, some of the archangels, but maybe even God, who knows? Which is interesting. You would think that a human element would kind of hold him back in just how powerful he is, but it doesn't seem like that, okay? Because, like, when he was activating his powers at first, and it kind of applies here later on too, but it's like he kind of stopped Sam and Dean. It's almost like time kind of froze around him while he was lifting them up. I mean, we haven't even begun to see what he's fully capable of. Currently, it seems like nothing can kill him because he took an angel blade, still kicking like it was nothing. Also, it seems the only thing that really bothers him is angels talking, like, as the way Dean puts it. Was it Dean or Sam? Sam, angel radio kind of messes with him, like the way that the angels communicate to him, like he can connect to it and it hurts him. So I guess maybe that's a side effect of being Lucifer's kid. I mean, makes you wonder, does angel radio ever mess with Lucifer in any shape or form? I mean, it's never really come up before, so I don't know. And it's an element I've always kind of brought up that we've never dealt with in a very long time. Let's not forget that Antichrist exists in this universe, and not unless I'm missing something. I don't ever remember them tackling that episode again. The Antichrist was in existence. He was a little kid. Sam and Dean dealt with the situation, but he just kind of went off on his own and disappeared. We've never seen hide nor hair of him. So I'm curious, will he ever pop up again in the story? I mean, once again, I've talked about this last season too. Supernatural has a tendency to throw in elements that you have not seen in years out of nowhere. It's like, wait, what? You haven't even touched this story in years and you're bringing it back. Like, it's notorious for doing that, which is a cool thing. I mean, good and bad, because once again, I've not, every season of Supernatural I've seen once, and that was the year it came out and aired. So for example, season 1, I caught bits and pieces that are syndicated on TNT, but in all honesty, I have not seen season 1 since it originally aired back in 2005. 2006, so basically that situation. So nevertheless, that's neither here nor there. So I'm just curious, it kind of is here or there, because I'm just curious, will the Antichrist and Lucifer's son coexisting in the same thing? I'm wondering, will that ever turn into something? Maybe it won't, and I'm pretty sure that's something I brought up last season as well, but nevertheless. But he does seem like he is kind-hearted. He does have goodness in him, in the sense of he's like, hey, they're burning Cass's body and Kelly's, and it's like, what do I say? It sounds like you say goodbye, you say sorry, you say thank you, and you hope that they are in a better place, essentially. And it was just, it was a beautiful moment of just teaching him, and it seems like Sam and Dean are going to be his moral compass, essentially, which is kind of interesting, just on a grand scale of how they are. They kind of have over the course of the series, Dean kind of leans one way in a moral compass and Sam the other way. Not necessarily in complete opposites, one's completely bad and the other one's good. It's it's not even like that. It's kind of a yin-yang situation. Sam is the yin with a little bit of yang mixed in, and then Dean is a little bit of the yang with a little yin mix. It's the fact of the matter is, it's just the good and bad. I mean, that's just human nature in general. And I think they're going to be the ones that kind of teach him right from wrong. They're probably going to take him out on cases, because they can't just leave him alone at, the bunker. Because I'm not going to brought up earlier, we don't really know what he's capable of. No one does. I mean, that's kind of been my thought. I was like, okay, so he's going to bring back Cass, but Cass's body's been burned. But it's the moment he gets more control of his powers, would he be able to do that? Would he be able to fix something like that? It's also sweet too, because he's able to know things. For example, he's like, yeah, my mom's in heaven. His mom was religious, so I guess it makes sense. Or that I know the president was religious, but she's religious too, isn't she? I'm pretty sure she was. But he was because Sheriff Christine Barker was kind of oh yeah, what about your mom? And he's like, my mom's in heaven, So I'm hoping we get to see more of her and her son Clark going forward. The fact of the matter is, Dean had the conversation about the supernatural. She's like, what are you, some kind of superhero? He said he almost wants to laugh. He, under normal circumstances, he'd probably be oh yeah, but considering the circumstances, he's just no, I'm just a dude doing my job. I mean, to be told, he always was like that. It's never about the glory for them anyway. It's just about protecting people. So, and ultimately, for Dean, this situation hits him hardest because he wasn't able to protect the people he cares about. Once again, even the douchebag Crowley, who they've had love and hate relationships all throughout the course of the time they've known Crowley. So it's so interesting and fascinating for him to be even Crowley. And side note, I had a weird feeling about that drunk lady. The fact of the matter is, they gave her too much personality. I was like, you're an angel, aren't you? She's talking to Dean about the Becky story and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I punched a hole through her poster or something like that, and then I lit some of her stuff on fire. It's I don't know, I have issues. I'm okay. It's I was you have to be an angel because you're playing too much of a role in this story, being drunk and everything. It's nah, you're not just a one-off. And it turns, she's kind of a one-off because she ended up dying, but still. Part of me was hoping that basically Jack would go a little crazy, ended up killing all three. 2 got pushed away. The final one, Sam ended up killing. But still, it was just kind of interesting to me how everything kind of played out in that regard. It also seems like they're blaming, because there was that conversation between the 2 angels when they showed up. It's oh yeah, the lady, she was yeah, Kelly, and the dude was I don't care about, essentially the vessel. It's where's the kid? And also Cassiel. It's oh man, he didn't deserve this. It's didn't he? Just all the stuff that Cass did, over the course of the series, and probably even this moment, knowing well about the Nephilim and still not doing anything about it. The fact of the matter is, even protecting and nurturing the him in that entire time last season. So I'm sure that played a role in their hate and despise of him. So I am curious though to find out what will Heaven do with him? I mean, obviously everyone, like, this is going to be a free for all all across the board, because obviously now, I brought it up earlier, but the demons themselves is going to be looking for new leadership. So there's probably some who still follow Lucifer and fear Lucifer, and they're like, oh my god, we got to get his son's got to be the ruler. Then heaven's got their own plans. What is that? I don't know. Whether they want him to use his powers to maybe make one of them God. Where is God in this whole situation about him and his I mean, because that is his grandson, in all honesty. Jack is his grandson. It's like you would think you'd pop up for your grandson's birth, especially because your grandson's birth, it's like a cosmic level thing. But, you know, God just always kept quiet when it came to the series anyway. Like, only reason why he really came out was because of the whole Amara situation. So a great season premiere, like I said, just immediately hitting the road and sprinting. I know I'm not using that proper analogy, but I can't find the proper words right now, so I do apologize for that. All right, and there's also another element I was bringing up that I'm still confused. There's that whole situation with Billy. Remember Cass killing Billy? It was like, oh, there's going to be cosmic consequences or something for doing what he did. So still unsure what those are. Were those consequences opening a tear into that other world? Was that supposed to represent that in that time some other things slipped through? Was it the fact of the matter is Jack being born? But though the fact is Jack was conceived before that whole Billy thing ever happened. So that's why I was like, no, it can't be that, but not unless it is that, because it's like, because of that, it ended, you know, maybe that's something we'll see kind of play out this season. Maybe it's something that's already happened. I'd like to know your thoughts about what you think the whole cosmic thing. Is it something that's already happened, or will we know when it had happened? Because I feel like if it was going to happen in an episode, obviously the way the show is designed, they always show you previews that are connected to things. So if it's ever like oh man, that cosmic thing is happening now, I feel like they'd cut back to in the preview, or like previously on Supernatural, showing you like Kaz killing Billy. I think that would ultimately be what would be like the key sign that like, whoa, things are kind of ugh. You know, so also another element too, and this is something I brought up in the season finale. I am curious, will we hear anything from the British Men of Letters? Like, it seems like that storyline might be done now, because they basically said like, yeah, don't come here. You keep your side of the pond. Yeah, that's it. I was trying to remember like what the terminology for like across the pond is, the term for like what. Nevertheless, then they'll stay on there. So it's like this whole project and them trying to kill hunters and everything, middle finger to them. So I'm curious, will there be any aftermath of because of what went down in season 12's finale or not? I'm actually sitting here and I'm still kind of depressed about the whole Lady Bevel situation. It's kind of depressing. I kind of wish something good had come out of that situation, but sadly no. I mean, now I'm sitting here thinking about it. This is something I just kind of want to add on at the end here. I forgot to bring it up earlier. It's the whole thing about Dean. Well, Sam heard from Jack himself that Cass was his dad, but it's like he never really brought it up to Dean, and I guess ultimately it never mattered. Maybe in the context of everything he did, but Dean still doesn't care because it doesn't change the fact that biologically he's still Lucifer's kid. But still, like, I feel like that should mean something. But like I said, for now, Dean's going to like, hey, it's like, hey, he stays with us. That way he can't hurt anyone. If he's going to hurt anyone, it's going to be us. There was almost a look on Sam's face like, okay, that's comforting to know, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to see what happens going forward, because the moment Dean finds a way to kill him, he's going to try to, but it's like, can you even kill him? I mean, just like you can't kill Lucifer, you know, so unless you're like stupid, like some stupid celestial level thing, I wouldn't think it'd be possible. I would probably make the argument, I think the only person that could probably ever kill Lucifer is probably, I don't know if God being who he is, and, you know, the whole situation with Lucifer, I don't know if he'd actually ever go through with it. I mean, they have crossed paths before, you know, obviously back during the whole Amara situation anyway, but it's like, I kind of feel like Jack might be able to match him in power, just what he can do. But once again, still don't know what that fully is. But like I said, I do apologize. I'm rambling on. All this is just so many questions. Obviously, this, like I said, this is just the premiere. There's so much of the season left to see, and I'm super excited to see what they do with this season, where it takes us, especially what goes down in the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.